Ladies and gentlemen of the old world, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to the showdown between Norska and Nurgle here on the Decrepit Moor. It's going to be myself with Sayl the Faithless versus Anticity with the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Nurgle, but more importantly, he has a fat Toad Dragon, which did get buffed, actually, so there are not a lot of multiplayer changes that I've observed, but we did notice that the Toad Dragon did get a cost reduction, I believe, of 100 or 150 gold, so hey, that's not bad. I mean, Toad Dragon is my favorite monster in the game. So Toad Dragon and Wookiee, they're the most Wookiee-like monsters, and I just think they're so cool. But regardless, let's break down my build. So we do have Marauder Berserkers in the front line because they've always been pretty good against Nurgle infantry. Sayl the Faithless on a Mammoth, he's going to be getting in with his Shalakane's Teeth, the Nightmaw, Wind Blast, as well as Chain Lightning to just kind of clear out infantry. We do have the Bloodshriek Chimera for the breath attacks. And that's basically going to be it for my build. Just kind of a nice little small build here. Fairly elite because Sayl is so expensive on his Mammoth. But yeah, very fun stuff. Now for Anticity's much more Chad build, he does have the Worshippers of the Crow, a bunch of Plague Bears. Plague Bears are a god tier infantry against Norska because of the fact that they're really tanky, obviously, so they can absorb a lot of damage. But they do magic damage, which is excellent against physical resist units. So most of the Norscan roster really enjoys the benefit of just having physical resist from their rage mechanic. It can be up to 20% here on the Berserkers, and in that case, the Plague Bearers can just punch through that and are really, really tough to drag down. Toad Dragon is super cool as well. I love the Toad Dragon. I mean, it has a ton of HP. The Mammoth itself has 13.7. Toad Dragon has about 12. Toad Dragon does have a breath attack and some built-in missile resist, which certainly doesn't hurt. And now we're going to get our skirmish on here. So the Norscan Marauders are going to be doing a little bit of harass here, but we do get forced back by the dreaded Toad Dragon breath attack, which is pretty funny, and he actually got me with it. Just kind of tickled the edge of the formation, but Chimeras are insanely good. Their breath attack here alone is just such good value, so we're able to really punish the Festering Stooges right there, take down about 40% of their health. Festering Stooges, of course, I would imagine will be healed by Anticity at some point. We'll have to see what he brought. Yeah, he's got a Fleshy Abundance, so although don't Festering Stooges just passively heal? I think they do, but they have to be in melee for that, so as long as we keep them at arm's reach, we should be okay. Calling in Javelins to help deal with the Toad Dragon. Berserker is going to be setting up shop here while we do trying to hold the point here, and the Bloodshriek Chimera is preparing to do a little bit of charging, lining up for another breath attack, but this is something that kind of caught me off guard a little bit. He called in the Chaos Knights. So Chaos Knights of Nurgle are actually, I think, decent against Norska because they'll beat all their infantry, and also they beat regular Skin Wolves because Skin Wolves can't get through their melee defense and armor. They would lose to Famir and would struggle against some of the other new threats, but overall I love the Chaos Knight pick, and I was like, my Berserkers were sweating bullets right now. I was like, oh boy, I need something to deal with those. So here we're calling in the dreaded Cursed Etten. Now, the Cursed Ettins are, I think, just power crept giants. They're really fast here with, I think, 36 speed compared to a giant. Yeah, and once we get out of the train, it'll be even faster. And they heal when they're low, really, really strong. They have the Unyielding Assault, they have Glorious Charge. Yeah, basically just a power crept giant unit. So, Bloodshriek Chimera is going to be creeping. We do get Shalakane's Teeth on his Chaos Sorcerer doing a ton of damage with Sayl the Faithless, and now we're going to be dropping another shot on the Festering Stooges right there of Chain Lightning. So, we've got good skirmish damage out of the gates, but this is like every game against... as a Nurgle main, this happens every time. You advance, you get beaten down, but you get them in the end, you get them in the end. All right, Toad Dragon going to be eating a lot of Javelins there, which was nice, and now we get the Cursed Etten on its way in as a breath attack is going to be activated on the Bloodshriek Chimera. I was almost like, man, I wish I'd brought two of those things, just like spamming those 6 breath attacks and then just not even fighting until you get those breath attacks out. Could be nasty, but we're going to be going for it. The bloodlust of the gods, it's not going to wait for anybody here. So he comes in, getting his Marauder Horsemen, and is able to get some nice damage against the Bloodshriek Chimera, but Chaos Knight's getting in. I don't really have an answer for them, to be honest. The Etten is here, and you see Nightmaw popping out, being adorable, and doing some great work against the Plague Bearers, while in the back we call in Kurgan Horsemen with great weapons. So the Etten is going to be going across, trying to shut down the Chaos Knights, and he will get a big boink on them, probably drag down a Knight. Nope, the Knights are able to endure that. Bloodshriek Chimera, Etten doing some work, and yeah, we really need to force those Knights back. Couple of Berserkers waiting cautiously. I didn't want to full commit. I figured that I would just kind of poke and harass a little bit and use some magic to poke, but honestly, really good play with the Marauder Horsemen. Able to get my Mammoth back here. Kurgan Horsemen and Marauder Horsemen throwing axes going to be rallying where they can, while the Cursed Etten does get on top of the Festering Stooges, and the Mammoth is going to be coming in trying to help too. Mammoths are really hard counters against infantry. I mean, they're some of the best anti-infantry monsters in the game. Granted, they're really slow. Mammoths are very vulnerable to being caught in bad positions, not a very escapable piece. But the Etten almost able to get the Festering Stooges down, and here we do get our Horsemen back. The Chaos Knights lurking in the wings. My Kurgan Horsemen do have great weapons, so I'm kind of waiting in the wings. using the Manticore to cycle charge them where I can while the Cursed Etten continues doing what it can. Here comes Nightmaw again, so he's going to be running through those Nurgle forces, able to really rip and tear, and we're going to be getting a Chain Lightning as well. Sayl is honestly an amazing character. I think he's a little bit better on horseback. It's just like a DPS caster. I think the Mammoth makes him a bit of a big target. Probably better to bring a Warshine Mammoth separately so you don't have like all your eggs in one basket. But honestly, neither choice is bad. So the Cursed Etten gets wrecked by the Virgin Cursed Etten versus the Chad Toad Dragon. Toad Dragons are just so goddamn cool. Look at this thing. So he's fighting with his Chaos Knights, and also Anticity is getting his Unholy Hand Grenades, and all of his Marauder Horsemen are sitting in a very happy position. Thankfully, the Etten keeps getting knocked over. It's probably because he has bad balance, considering he's got one of those short arms there. But yeah, he heals when he gets low, so I felt a little bit okay leaving him there, but probably going to backfire a little bit. We'll have to see. Kurgan Horsemen pulling back. Sayl the Faithless going to be waiting while Berserkers do chop through the Plague Bearers. It's taking its sweet time here, but the Etten is going to be retreating. And the Kurgan Horsemen back on the defense while we call out some Kurgans with the dual weapons here. So these guys are going to be okay against Plague Bearers. Their bonus versus infantry will be nice. The Plague Bearers are just so stalwart and such a hard unit to remove. Obviously, factions that have really heavy range focus can punish them, and I think Norska can deal with Plague Bearers relatively well too. If you do have obviously the magic spam like I've been doing has been pretty good, and yeah, overall they've been getting beaten down a little bit. But value trading is close, which is not good, and Sayl is very, very low at this point. Going to be using the Chimera to come across, try and chase off the Toad Dragon while my horsemen screen his horsemen. Just throwing weapons into each other, wearing it down. But unfortunately, Sayl cannot be healed, and my Cursed Etten is getting in the danger zone a little bit. Marauder Javelins throwing into the Chaos Knights who have been forced back. And ladies and gentlemen, the battle continues to rage on, as here we get a bit of a pit fight, which isn't terrible. Bloodtree Chimera able to get some work in, but the Kurgan Horsemen are dual weapon Kurgans, and these Giga Chad Nurgle Chaos Knights, man, they are just such a problem. I don't have anything effective against them. They're really just bullying all my mobility and countering a lot of my infantry. My monsters are okay against them. The Cursed Etten is going to be running here in a second, but it is getting its passive healing. I do think we're going to be seeing a lot of Cursed Etten play. The fact that they're just fast, obviously he's poisoned right now, but they are fast, they heal, they hit really hard. I think there's going to be a handful of matchups in which you might see like double Cursed Etten, honestly. Against other melee-centric factions, like I could see that being a thing against Khorne. Just having that healing is so good. Like bringing a Sayl double Cursed Etten, pretty cool. All right, Javelins getting pushed back a little bit. Kurgan Horsemen, dual weapons waiting in the wings, and now we're falling massively behind in value. As this Toad Dragon, I just have not been able to deal with him. So he's been giving me a lot of grief, man, as the Marauder Berserkers, the dual weapons, continue fighting it out. And in the backside, we do see Sayl the Faithless trying to get through these Plague Bearers and doing some okay work. And in the woods, we finally call out what should have been here like 5 minutes ago. It is Beorg Bearstruck. So this guy is a great anti-large fighter. He does have a battle cry ability, so when he charges in, it buffs up nearby allies, and he would be really good against the Chaos Knights, also great against the Chaos Sorcerer. Shalakane's Teeth activated, able to get some good damage there, and my Bloodtree Chimera, I did lapse in micro, and unfortunately that bad boy is getting caught and punished a little bit. In the meantime, we are going to use the Nightmaw, does some okay damage. The Etten is retreating into the trees, but it is going to be healing right now. Plague Bear is really screening me back. But Beorg Bearstruck, will he be enough to pull us back into the game, as our back objective is under heavy duress? Fleshy Abundance, Overcasted. Oh, that's such value. I love it. I love seeing Nurgle feast. It's great. But the Toad Dragon gets healed. He's going to be popping it off. It looks like he just ate something down there. The boy is feasting. He's enjoying himself. Couple Javelins throwing effectively. But another unit of Chaos Knights coming in. Really, really doing quite well, as Sayl the Faithless gets a good charge through these guys, and the Etten has returned. So the Palpa Etten is here, but looking like I'm potentially going to be getting triple cap, trying to use Beorg Bearstruck, which is pretty wild that this guy has freaking 90 armor, man. What a beast. He's going to be moving in, trying to screen out the Chaos Knights a little bit, but those Chaos Knights are numerous, and it is going to be tough to drag them down. Sayl getting a Chain Lightning over here, and we're going to be landing the Bloodtree Chimera, so the reason why we're landing it over there is to get the healing ability on it, so it can only heal when it's landed on the ground. Chain Lightning, a bit of a miscast there. Not miscast, but not the best position. And I know Sayl is on death's bed, so my idea is to pull him back, get a Death Star going, and try and utilize his Shrine, which is not super built up. But now we're calling out Marauder Bearmen, which honestly would have been a better choice, probably, than the Berserkers, although they would get wrecked really badly by Plague Bearers. So, but considering he brought Chaos Knights, which I didn't expect him to bring, to be honest, yeah, that might have been a better. Coming in is Beorg, battling versus the Toad Dragon, and that should be pretty favored for Beorg. He is large, the Toad Dragon is anti-infantry, and it is a little bit tired, whereas Beorg is only winded at this point. So he's going to fight that Toad Dragon all day and be able to get some good HP damage. And we really need to win this blob fight back here. We do have the Marauder Bearmen, which are excellent against Chaos Knights. The Cursed Etten is trying to fight it out, but he does get broke, and he's like, give me a strong hand. Yeah, he's breaking there. Sayl going to be retreating away a little bit. Chaos Knight's getting a nice charge over this way as more Marauder Bearmen with great weapons are called in. But at this point, guys, it's going to be really hard to get back. The trading was too inefficient. We just took a huge beating on our Lord. Basically, Sayl just got bullied, and it cost me a lot. You know, you have this big, expensive mammoth, a 3,000 gold Lord, which I'm sure he did okay. He did 2,600, but he really got bullied this game by the Cho Dragon and the Sorcerer and the throwing axes. So I think just having him on horseback would have been better. The Etten was honestly fine, but by the time the Etten came out, I was already in such a precarious position that he wasn't really able to feast. Bearstruck, I do think, would be decent, but yeah, that is going to be it. So we've all discovered Anticity what he needs to do. You know, he needs to reject Slaanesh. He needs to reject Norska and the High Elves, all these new fancy toys, you know, and go back to the good old-fashioned love of Nurgle, man. Clearly we have a Nurgle main on our hands, right? I think he needs to just forsake his forbidden ways and embrace Nurgle. It needs to happen. So yeah, as far as this build, I loved it. The Plague Bearers were cool. The Cho Dragon was really, really neat. But what won him that game was his Chaos Knights. I just had no answers for them. Like in my build, I straight up had nothing that could fight Chaos Knights. Like nothing in this build can fight Chaos Knights except Beork. That's it. And he had 3 of them just rampaging through my army. So that was a disaster. But, you know, obviously we're experimenting with new things. In retrospect, yeah, Sayl would go on horseback. I would probably get Marauder Bearmen with great weapons. Use Sayl's magic to kill the Plague Bearers. Use the great weapons to fight a little bit better. I'd probably mix in like some Famir, for example, to be a little bit more sustainable. But yeah, I don't really know Norska too well. I'm learning in them with this update. But they're very fun. I do think Norska is going to be an S tier faction. I think in the hands of people who played Norska before, who understand the faction mechanics, getting these, like Sayl is really, really good. Like even if we had him on horseback for like 1,500 gold, he would have still probably gotten 2,600 value, if not more, just with his magic spam. Dreadmaw's really good. Shalkane's Teeth is amazing. Norska just feels like an awesome, really fun to play faction. So yeah, if you guys are newer players, by the way, I highly recommend Norska. I think they're such a good beginner player faction. And yeah, their units just have good stats. They're cost effective. Give them a try, man. And I love seeing a Nurgle victory. I love it. It's the best. You know, give me more Toe Dragon. It's the coolest thing. All right, guys, that's it for today. Take care of yourselves. And yeah, Dark Gods enjoyed this one. Adios.